Hey guys, I'm Joey, and today we are looking at the only acoustic guitar that I've ever bought, and probably the only one that I'm ever going to own. It's the Talyor GS Mini. Mine is from 2013, and I did buy it used, but I've had it almost that long. At the time, I was looking for a smaller bodied acoustic guitar, and I had played several of these. All of them felt and sounded awesome. So I wound up finding a pretty sweet deal on one, and she has served me well ever since. The thing that I love about this guitar is that even though it's 3/4 size, the way that it's constructed, it is a full-size sounding guitar. So that is super awesome. We'll talk a little bit on specs, and then we'll do some sound samples so you can get a rough idea what the guitar looks and sounds like. As far as some of the specs here, again, my information is for this model, the 2013 edition. Now, some of the newer versions of this guitar, I think they're using some different woods and maybe even some different specs on the electronics, but I do believe that all the measurements are the same. So that stuff should still be current. As far as the scale length here, we've got a 23.5-inch scale, which is super nice if you have smaller hands or you're just looking for something a little bit easier to wrap your arm over. Ebony fretboard, 20 frets, and a new bone nut. And on some of the pictures that I'll throw up on the video here, you'll see that I keep one of those like permanent banjo style capos on the neck of this guitar. And even with that wrapped around the nut, I've never had any major tuning stability issues. So the nut was cut really well, and they use some high quality materials here. As far as the body goes, the shape is actually a scaled down version of Talyor's Grand Symphony, hence the name GS Mini. As far as the measurements here, we've got 17 5/8 for the length, 14 3/8 on the width, and 4 7/16 for the body depth. Now, interesting enough, that's only a 1/4 inch shallower than the full-size Grand Symphony. So kind of cool there. Again, the way that they've constructed this guitar, especially in the depth of the body, gives you that full sound while being a smaller size. As far as the woods that they were using, the top is made out of solid Sitka spruce, the neck is sapele, and the back and sides are laminated sapele, which is in the mahogany family. Not something I knew, so I had to go look that one up. The finish is satin. The neck does kind of gloss up over time as you use it a bunch. So every 6 months or so, I just take a little bit of light steel wool to it, and that kind of knocks some of that stickiness back down, and the neck is nice and satiny smooth once again. As far as the electronics go, finding information on this is pretty tricky. Even in all the paperwork that I have with the guitar, it's just hard tracking down info on the early electronics for the 2013s. But I can tell you that they are really high quality. And the way that the controls are laid out on mine, I really love, because it's simple, sleek, very classy looking. Just 3 knobs standing alone on the upper left portion of the guitar body. That's for your bass control, your treble, and your volume. And everything's powered by a little 9-volt battery. We're going to run through some sound samples now so that you can hear the guitar. First, we'll use just the mic that I have here in the room so you can get a rough idea as far as the fullness of the guitar, as I keep mentioning. I will be honest with you, it's not the ideal setup here. The little studio that I have is not really set up the best for sound dampening and mic placement, but it'll give you the rough idea. And all of the rest of the sound samples will be through the electronics. So we'll do some open chords there, some bar chords, and then we'll run through all of the controls so that you can get an idea for the range on the EQ and volume. Let's get to it. You know, as guitar players, we're always talking about our desert island rig, and I'm the first to admit that I'd love to say I could pick a vintage Strat and a 2-rock, but realistically, with the gear that I do have, this guitar would be the one thing that I would bring to a desert island. She's been with me so long, been so loyal to me, even through the scuffles that I've put it through, the scars that she has now, plenty of busking gigs and sing-alongs with friends at their houses. Again, the guitar's been loyal to me, and I don't think I'm ever going to pick up another acoustic, because the Talyor GS Mini, in my opinion, is that good. In the comments below, go ahead and let me know what you thought, especially if you have your own GS Mini. And again, especially if it's one of the newer ones, because I'd be curious to see how you feel about some of those new woods and other specs. And be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this, because we're always putting out cool new stuff each and every week. So on that note, guys, until next time, thanks so much and take care.